And good morning, Hoosier Nation, and welcome to another edition of Hoosier Morning After. This is Hoosier Morning After Marian. Last night, your Indiana Hoosiers go on to defeat Marian in the final exhibition game of the season, 106-64. In a game that obviously doesn't count from here on out. The games do count. They do matter from here on out, unlike the normal saying, an exhibition, the outcomes don't matter, but the injuries do. IU escapes any sort of worry about that. No injuries during the games, at least. We did have a few guys out that weren't out before, but a few guys back that weren't back in the previous exhibition game. So a lot to go over, a lot of different things to look at, some things to react to, some things to be excited for, some things to not necessarily worry about, but keep an eye on as we kind of move forward in this season. Great moment last night. Let's talk about that first, I think, with Pat Knight being back. Great to have him in attendance. Love to see the recognition the crowd gave him, coming out, kissing the eye in the middle of the floor. Looked like Miss Knight was there as well, getting a little emotional there, supporting her son and everything. So great to see the Knight family there. Always part of Hoosier Nation, always welcome, always excited to see them, even if it's going up against them. So great thing to see. Need to continue to bring Marian back for these exhibitions and recognize Pat as he continues his coaching career on and forward. Obviously, hope for the best with him. This game, however, went as predicted. IU getting things under control from the tip, dominating in the post against obviously an undersized team, taking a 50-25 lead into the first half. Second half featured maybe about 5, 6, 7 minutes of the starters. Then you kind of saw some of the bench start to get in there. And even a extended run at the end for a lot of the walk-ons. I think Shane Burke getting his first points as a Hoosier, finally now as a senior walk-on, been with the team for quite a few years. So a lot of stuff to take from, a lot of good things for different players in this game, but excited to get things to where they count and move on from this. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Chad Schwartzkopf. We'll see Martha might pop in here at some point for me. Obviously, exhibition, these games are real quick to get just kind of talk about, discuss things as we go. Those of you in Hoosier Nation that are on the road, going up to the Michigan State football game, drive safely. Hope you're having a good time. Be up there cheering and everything. Can't wait for that game later on today. But we had a good basketball game to play and see last night. Two guys were out, like I said, that we weren't necessarily expecting. Leal, I haven't seen a report on exactly what his injury is. Carlisle was evidently with a bruised rib, is the report from Mike Woodson. Seems like it's nothing concerning, just to be held out for a little bit. Bruised rib can be something, depending on how bad it is, can nag you, but can be something easy to get over. And the luck of IU and our depth and everything is something that we're going to be able to overcome this year that we haven't in the past when we have guys out with dings and banged up slightly. So good to have him out in this game, precautionary reasons as well. Positive side to that, there were guys back that we haven't seen play for IU yet this year, and IU overall. With Carlisle being out, Trey was back in there today. He was back in the starting lineup for IU in this game. Trey did look, I will say, he looked a little rusty in this game. He wasn't back to normal Trey, but I will say what you could see was him kind of taking it easy, not doing too much, not trying to get up to speed too soon. To me, that is what a senior would do. Someone that's been through it for many years, has also been through it injury-wise. I mean, Trey, very knowledgeable about coming back from injury and everything like that. No need for him to push things. No need for him to necessarily find his rhythm yet for this team, something that he's going to find down the road. One thing that was great to see him hit that three-pointer. That was obviously nice to see, but just needed to get in there and just feel the rhythm, play with the guys, be a distributor. Let me see, how many minutes did he finish up with? Galloway had 21 minutes, so a little more than I would have, 11 minutes. He was plus 21. So just a handful of minutes for him. Had 4 rebounds total, 2 assists, just 1 turnover. And again, only took the 1 shot, and that was that 3-point shot, and he made it. So Trey's 100% on the season, guys. He's a perfect player, perfect shot maker for IU. But again, I'm not concerned. He's going to knock off that rust. He'll get a little bit better as we go along. And again, I'm excited to see a hopeful, full steam Trey Galloway with these teammates that he can have. And I'm going to stand by what I've said before. I won't be surprised if he is that first man off the bench for IU as we go. The only thing that might kind of go against that for me and might be a little bit different is the fact that Woodson does like to go with veteran lineups. He does like to lean on his veteran guys. That might be the only thing that might go against my wishes there as far as Trey being our 6th man, our man off the bench. Other guy, great to see in his debut in the Hoosier candy stripes and uniforms out there, finally, after a redshirt medical season freshman year, Ja'Kai Newton sees the floor. You could really see how eager he was to get out there and excited he was. Had just 2 points and was 1 for 5. Took 3 threes, didn't make any of them. Had 4 rebounds in just 12 minutes. So obviously not giving him as many minutes, letting him kind of ease his way back in. It's kind of the juxtaposition you could kind of see between him and Trey Galloway. Trey Galloway, a little more reserved in his coming back. You could see that Ja'Kai was hungry. He wants to get back in there. Showed great handles and that great little blow-by layup he was able to do, showing that he does have that athleticism, while his athleticism that we've seen in some of his high school videos wasn't quite back to what we've seen there and what it can be and what it possibly might build to, hopefully might build to for IU. I think that'll come for him. It's great to be able to bring him out on the floor in a game like this and get those minutes for him. Might be a little bit harder to find those minutes as games go on. It is truly a deep team, so it's going to be tougher for him to find those minutes, I think, coming forward. But he'll be ready. He'll be ready and eager when those minutes come. And because of the depth we have and the team we have, yes, we don't see him out there in game time situations, but he's at least practicing with this depth and hopefully can get up to speed that way a little bit more. But again, just a warm, fuzzy feeling for Hoosier Nation to finally see a kid that, with all interviews and everything we've seen about him, has a great head on his shoulder, very smart, very good IQ for basketball. And to see him fight through everything, stick with Indiana when he could have transferred out and be out there for his first minutes was good to see, and to see him make some baskets. So very, very, very positives. A lot of positives in this game, and I think the biggest positives we saw in this game was Bryson Tucker, his very first game as well as a Hoosier, and he is just impressive. We have heard Woody say that he doesn't play like a freshman, he doesn't look like a freshman, and I 100% agree with that. I mean, yes, this game was against lesser talent, but he led the team last night in points at 19. Went 9 for 12 and missed the 1 3-pointer he took. That's not necessarily in his highlights or in his bag, but I mean, his shot looks great. His fundamentals are just spot on, beautiful. His stances, when he elevates for his shot, he looks great. He finds great windows when he's driving, gets up and down the floor. His hustling by those few runouts that he got and those alley-oops that he got, backdoor cut alley-oop was gorgeous. Just excited. An exciting player. Loves that mid-range game. I know that's kind of something that Woodson likes in players, and we kind of hate, because those long twos obviously are the one of the least efficient statistically you could take as a player. But he's another one like Hood-Schifino that makes those nicely. Will be very interesting to see him against bigger competition. I think like any freshman, the defensive end, he kind of gets lost a little bit. I think overall the team struggled a little bit defensively. It was interesting to see in this game because IU did not have to worry about the height of Marian. You saw IU switching 1 through 5. And so some of that ultimate switching or all switching and the lead that IU had led to guys on the defensive end being a little lackluster, being a little lazy with some of their assignments and switches and things like that didn't lead to the most beautiful looking off defense. And I'm sure they're going to hear about that because Woodson prides himself in defense and everything. So it's on the tape. The guys will have to look at it and see it. And I know they'll probably scuff at some of it and let some of that roll off their shoulders. But it is something that they need to obviously correct and pay attention to moving forward. But again, I'm so excited for what Tucker is going to be for this team and what he has for us moving forward. I mean, this is a kid that on last year's team and past teams for IU would have been a starter. And he is going to be a guy coming off the bench. So that's great. And that speaks bounds for what this roster is. And I guess to speak a little bit deeper on that, I was talking with my dad about this, and we have a habit in Hoosier Nation of constantly kind of saying we have a deep team. I think it was something that was said last year. And I think we've gone to that phrase too often and almost taken a little bit of gusto out of the meaning of that, having a deep team. I think last year, the reason we said it was something where we had depth based on hope and potential. We had hoped a few players would make the freshman to sophomore leap, and they didn't quite make. We were hopeful that guys coming in that were rated high would be able to contribute right away. But this time I'm at the expense of laying down tape on it and eating my words later on. It just feels like a deeper team, feels a lot better. Obviously, we'll see as the competition increases, and we have, again, it's been exhibition and we did play a good team in the exhibition, but there is a lot more comfort in the bench this year. When Woodson goes to those lineup shifts where he has done before, when the starters get a lead and then he brings in 4 bench players at a time, you're not going to see that drop off that we've seen in the past. You're not going to see that lead dwindle like we have in the past. So that's something great, something positive, looking forward for this team, looking to see that we continue to get vindicated in that assessment, in those hopes for this team. What I started to say as well is that another thing going into this season that we've been concerned with has been the fact that Woodson wants to go with a 2 big guy starting lineup and run with those guys quite a bit. And obviously that's Malik and Ballo. And I think Malik was able to kind of feast in this game as well as Ballo because, like I said, in the defensive matchup and switching, they didn't really have an answer for either of those guys. Malik finished with 19 points. He tried his 3-pointer. Again, thank you, Malik. I want to see that every time, at least one 3-pointer tried every game. Working a lot more this year, I've noticed, on his handles and his confidence handling the ball. Obviously, that's something that Woodson likes for all players to be able to do. And he did really well with that in this game and what I've seen so far. And obviously, speaking of that as well, like I said, Ballo dominated and also handled the ball a little bit as well, dribbling the ball up. I forgot who exactly it was, and I meant to screen grab the tweet and share it here and quote him on it. But there was a clip of the game of Ballo bringing the ball up and finding Malik underneath for a layup. And there was an Arizona fan that commented to that, seeing that, saying he has not seen him dribble the ball that much in a whole season as he did in this one clip, and was praising Mike Woodson and his development of players. So Thank you to that. I wish I could quote you and remember what your Twitter name is to give you a shout out in that. But that shows that's a good resume builder again for the transfer portal that we're going to have to dip into this upcoming offseason at the end of the year. But great to see what those two are able to do together. And I think you've seen a lot of difference in the schemes that IU is playing. There's a lot of empty sets underneath. There's a lot of times that you see Ballo, not even completely different from him receiving it up top like he did or bringing it up. A lot of times the guards will bring it up. You'll see Ballo come out from under the post, receive the ball at the top of the arc, and then you'll see Malik dip down and get position. And he has been delivering great passes to him so far. Obviously, we'll see when a lot more competition comes forward. And I keep saying that phrase, but I keep forgetting that we have seen a good defensive team in Tennessee, and that was successful in that regards too. But just have liked so far the way the team and the coaching staff has handled that big concern that Hoosier Nation has had, and the big critique of the two big guys in together. Right now, I am not as concerned as I was leading into this season. I am wholly confident in what these two bigs can do together, what they can supply for each other moving forward in this game. So yeah, I mean, good stats from them. Obviously, they could have feasted even more than they did in this game. Renew with the second leading scorer of the game with 18 points. Like I said, Ballo had 16. Ballo was a perfect 6 for 6 from the field. Like I said, he could do whatever he wanted. A lot of those were on cleanup rebounds and putbacks. So 4 for 6 from the free throw line. So great for a big man that's going to get fouled and get to the foul line to see him hitting at a pretty good clip for him. 7 rebounds, 1 block, 1 steal, 20 minutes. Again, I think he played a little bit longer than I kind of expected him to play. There was a point in the second half that I thought maybe they should have taken him out. But hey, maybe this is coach just testing his endurance and everything. And along those lines with that endurance, like I said, they were switching on defense 1 through 5, and I thought that the big guys, when matched up against little guys, did pretty good. All around the defense was pretty good as well. I think the one thing that I might take away from the defense as a little bit of a negative and a little bit of a concern would maybe be Gabe Cupps again. And I hate to be critical about him because the kid puts in a heck of a lot of effort, but he did get drived on a time or two. And that's been something that he has struggled with last year. And we've seen that in these first 2 games. So just something to keep an eye on, something to obviously improve upon. And I'm not saying anything, obviously, that Gabe is probably not aware of himself. And I'm sure he is working on that incredibly hard. So that'd be maybe the biggest glaring thing on defense, I would say, about this game, other than obviously letting up a little bit defensively. But that's going to come with the game you're playing and the competition that you're playing against. One final first to be able to talk about this in this game was Luke Goody finally hitting a basket for IU, hitting a 3-pointer. Was taking a lot of them, finally gets one of them to fall. Was 2 for 9 in this game for IU. All of his shots were from 3. Talk about being a role player and knowing what it is. Obviously, he won't pass up a layup or any other thing, but he knows that that's what he's in there for, and that's the kind of double screen actions and loop around screens and all kinds of situations you see the team putting him into to maximize what he does. Not cause for concern. That's he's going to hit him. He's going to find his rhythm again. But 2 for 9 from the field for him, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. That's the really good thing to see from him. He tied the team in assist just behind Rice and Malik, who also had 5 assists. and played 23 minutes and finished a plus 19 in this game. So continues to, I think, be that guy that's going to be the veteran player, the smart, wise player, the role player. I look to see good amount of minutes because in this team, you don't need to have a bunch of guys that are going to score at a high clip out there together. Having Luke Goody that can just be there on the outside ready to receive when he's open from double teams or breakdowns and defenses to hit those three and take those threes, and then be that veteran player that can read the game better than a lot of other guys, just has the instincts, and it's just that Race Thompson, hard hat, Elmer's glue type of player for IU. So good things from him, and good things moving forward. And just, again, a guy that I'm thrilled that IU has on its roster. The last player that I kind of want to narrow down and talk about a little bit are two guys that had a little bit quieter of a game, and that would be McKenzie and Miles Rice. McKenzie finishes with 10 points. Shot wasn't falling as great for him, 4 for 7, 2 for 5 from the field. Didn't get to the line at all in this game. Thought he could have been a little more aggressive, maybe going for that. Again, I think some guys were pulling back just because of the competition and just trying to find rhythm in this game for themselves. But he will be one that is a constant lead scorer for this team. And on the other end, I will say so far, no cause for concerns like we had last year with his defense. So we will see how that is moving forward for IU. And then Miles Rice, again, quieter of a game for him, 6 points for him, 3 for 3 from the field, though, just a perfect in the shots he did decide to take. 3 rebounds, 5 assists, just 2 turnovers for him in 19 minutes of play. I'm great with that. I mean, that's, I think, an ideal stat line for an elite point guard. Impacting the game, distributing the ball where it needs to be, and taking his own shot when he needs to get it. We have had in the past with Xavier Johnson, a player that we needed to have someone score. We needed his ability and we needed him to score out there. That's not the case for Miles Rice. Now, there may be games where other guys are having down games and he will be the lead scorer and we will need him to get points. And as we saw in the Tennessee game, he is a player that can do that. He can get downhill very easily. He does make me a little nervous, and one of his turnovers in this game kind of showed it as well. With his speed of getting downhill, you'll see he dribbles really far out in front of himself, kind of getting the ball ahead of him because he does have that speed. And it does, in times that I've seen in highlights, get away from him. And that was the cause of one of his turnovers where it just got in front of him too much and a Marian player was able to knock it away from him. But just to have him be able to impact the game like this and then score when he needed to and be as efficient, it's just so great. I'm gonna, if I keep talking about him, I'm just gonna continue to gush about him because that's all I'm gonna keep doing all this year is gush about Miles Rice and his importance, and so excited to have him on this roster and again, he's going to impact every game. He's going to impact every single game he's in there for IU. So it's exciting to see. Looking at stats in this game, again, obviously you can't take too deep in this game, but and I'm going to say that 50 billion times, and I'm sorry for being the broken record in that, but at least stats to look at. 33 assists, fantastic. 10 turnovers, great as well. IU's been pretty good at. One of the stats that it was exciting to see, obviously I've lamented this myself in previous IU teams, is missing bunnies. Not the case in this game. 24 for 27 on layups in this game, 10 for 10 on dunks. 1.377 points per possession. That's just a fantastic stat to have as well. Obviously, the three-point shooting is not ideal still. Not ready to pull the ripcord on it yet. Again, like I said, there are some guys out there shooting it that can shoot it better. McKenzie can make it a little bit better, 2 for 5. He can at least be 3 for 5 or better. I don't think you're going to see a guy in Luke Goody be as low as 2 for 9. He will find his rhythm. He may have games like that, but he will also have games where I think he'll just go on fire. I also think towards the end of the game, we got a little happy with just kind of throwing him out there, throwing him up there and everything. Gabe took an early one that was kind of ill-advised. A few of the walk-ons that were on at the end threw some up that were ill-advised. So that's a little off in that regards, but IU finishes 65% from the field. So again, that's just something that's going to happen when you're playing against a team like this. You're going to see a stat line like that. And I think overall, this has just been a very successful exhibition outing for IU, something that IU maximized the 2 exhibitions that we had on our roster. I will not stop praising the fact that we played the Tennessee one, played against good competition, and then had this one to kind of just let guys get some rhythm and some other minutes and try, again, some more lineups, let some guys get their first time in uniforms and all of that for IU. But it'll be an easier, other than Atlantis, early season for IU. So getting that Tennessee game, some competition in the exhibition was smart. IU's next game is against SIU East on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Late game. Again, I believe that is on BTN Plus. It might be on regular BTN, but check that out as it gets closer and all those things get closer. Obviously, moving forward, the things to get excited for and look forward to is coming up at the end of this month when we go to Atlantis. Hopefully, IU can get on the winner's side of that bracket and pad their preseason from there on out. But overall, again, an exciting exhibition. And an exciting season to finally get kicked into. And that's, I guess, the biggest take is now it's the real season. Now here we go. We get into it. And it's going to be an exciting year. And I know we are still one eye looking this way at football. Football is a big one coming up today and a big road game for them. But exciting time to be an IU basketball fan and IU athletic fan overall. Shout out to the men's soccer team for clinching the Big Ten regular season again. Continued to be a team and a coaching staff that gets the players ready for October and is able to just execute when it matters the most. Not unlike what you look for in basketball, to have your hot times really kick in at the end of the season. So exciting times. I'm very excited to see football this afternoon and see what they do on a road, real true road crowd and what they're going to be. I know a lot of people will be there as IU fans, and with the different colors, now we will be able to see truly how many IU fans show up for that game. Excited that Curtis Rourke is back in there. A little bit qualmed to see exactly what kind of percentage he's playing at. Probably going to be around 80%. Even 80% is going to be great for him and his reads and everything. So yeah, can't wait to cheer everything on. Excited for everything. I'm going to continue to gush and ramble on all of this, guys. So I think I got to end it there then for us. So thank you for being here with me on this quick little sum up of this Marian game. We'll be back again on Thursday morning to talk about the first regular season game of these Indiana Hoosiers. Martha, hopefully back with me then as well. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at General Chadwick. They'll have information about the show, when we're going to go live, all of that situation. Excited to see everyone. I'm going to again be out there for that Michigan game, the next football game that weekend. So hopefully I'll see you out there in that game. Looking forward to it. Until then, guys, go out, have yourself a wonderful day.
As always, go Hoosiers.